welcome to Sparkling Memories, a place where you could build healthy relationship with food, pairs, and yourself. And today we're going to be making some turkey burgers and guacamole. Here in front of you, we have the ingredients starting from the left to the right. If you could find fresh items, go ahead and do such. But I had to substitute some of the items because I didn't have it. We have the gobo with the salt, all-purpose seasoning, cilantro. We have ketchup. We have lime, garlic. Of course, we're going to use a couple of cloves and not the whole thing. And we're going to use half of the avocado instead of the whole thing. And of course, I have my cutting board. Now, if you can find them fresh in terms of using tomato instead of ketchup, do such. The same thing goes for the cilantro. If you can find them fresh, then do that. So, first thing I'm going to do is open up my avocado. And be sure not to cut myself in the process. I put it in two. You should have a big seed in the middle if you're not familiar with avocado. See how the seed just popped out there? And now I have 2 pieces of avocado. How gorgeous is the color of this avocado in the inside? Oh my goodness. And it's ripe and it's not overripe. So we're going to go ahead and peel it because I don't use the skin on the avocado. I just want the filling that's on the inside. The rest of the avocado, the one I didn't use, I refrigerate. Of course, it's going to change the color because it hasn't a lot of items that are strong in iron. So it will turn slightly black or brown when you don't use them immediately. So now this half I have in my hand here, I'm going to just put back in the seed and refrigerate the rest until another time when I feel like using the avocado. Simple, right? So now we have to actually cut and mash the half of the avocado that's separated from the full thing. Once it's mashed, it's going to look something like this. I use the back of my spoon, make it a lot easier. Now, if you have a food processor, this process can go a lot quicker, but I don't, so I had to use the items I do have. I just so happen to have a spoon and the avocado is already soft. In my case, I use the lime juice to make it a little easier with the mashing, but be careful because the lime juice is for taste and not just to help you mash. Because if you put in too much lime juice, it's going to overpower it, so you don't want to do that. I use half of the lime and not the whole thing. So I put in some here to make it a little easier for me to mash it and to add some kind of flavor to the profile. Give it a good squeeze. And you can use it less or more depending on how you would like it to taste. So we're going based off of taste. Isn't much measuring that's happening at this time because we're not doing the whole avocado. If you do the whole avocado, you could measure your ingredients and then take it from there, or you could go by sight. Now, this part is for my garlic. I have to open up the garlic and take a couple cloves. And it depends on the size because the cloves come in different sizes. Some might be small, medium, and large. I tend to do at least 2 cloves of garlic, 1 small one and 1 medium-sized one. Now, if I come across one that's large, I would just use the large one and then put aside the rest of the garlic for another dish I want to make at a later date. Versus trying to use the whole thing. Do not use all of the garlic one time. That is going to overpower your dish, and this is not what you want for when it comes to making some guacamole. It's very simple ingredients. Don't make it complicated. I've seen people put in all kinds of stuff in there. I suggest if you don't have something you can substitute it. In this case, I added onion, yellow onion to mine's, and I didn't place it in the video. Now, it's recommended that you use red onions because the red onions have more of a sweet taste versus using the yellow ones. So I have two large size one and two small ones. So I'm going to use a medium size and a small one. I'm going to go ahead and wash that off. Cut it up to small pieces. I would say mace the garlic. Now, if you don't have garlic, you could use garlic powder, but the strongness of the garlic isn't going to be the same when you do that. So I just added some cilantro to my dish that has in the portion for the avocado, the onions, and the tomato sauce. Should be the next thing that I put inside because I think that's the last ingredient that I didn't put inside as yet. Now, if you want yours a little chunky, you can use minced tomatoes. I did had tomatoes at that particular time, so I decided to jump the gun and use ketchup instead. I recommend tomatoes, even though I'm using ketchup because it was late and I really didn't have time to go to the store. See, make sure you don't cut your hand when you're doing the garlic. Take your time because ain't no easy way to do this unless you already have a chopper and you can place it into your chopper or you can place it into your food processor and then it could already be mixed for you. I don't like to overdo it with that. I'd rather cut it myself because I know the size I'm looking for. I don't want it too super tiny and I don't want them super large. So me cutting it myself makes it a lot easier for me versus use a processor or put it in a blender and it turns into paste. That is not what you want. Those are all options. Instead of using the spoon and the knife, you could use other stuff to put it together. I doing the basic cutting board, sharp blade, and take it whatever ingredients that I need to make it and then go from there. It is super simple and this is my first time making it. It came out pretty good. I gotta say, I did that much. But overcomplicating stuff should not be your goal. Your goal is to make a delicious dish and doing it in a timely manner. Because anything else beyond that is going to be super complicated. Guacamole is the easiest thing you can make with avocado. Besides just pouring in some salt and pepper and put it on a sandwich with some mayo or whatever else you would like on to your sandwich. So here I'm just finishing up. I'll mix all of that together. That's the adobo going in at this time. The different type of adobo, this one, the red cap, is the one with the salt. Instead of me using kosher salt or sea salt, I just like the adobo because I have other herbs that's in the adobo plus the salt and I give it a rich taste versus just using plain old salt. But one thing when it comes to salt, if you encounter too much salt, you could use potatoes to draw some of that salt for your food. So that's one tip when it comes to if your stuff get too salty. Oh, so I did put in my onions. Okay. But I didn't list that as my ingredients when I started. This is the yellow onions I'm currently cutting up. Be sure to mind what you're doing. I've seen people cut themselves and it is not cute. Take your time because your food ain't going anywhere. Take your time because sometimes you over sharp your blade and it takes nothing to get cut from my blade that just got sharpened. I know that from experience, so I can tell you. So right now I'm cutting them a little smaller I won't say exactly maize, but smaller than when it originally had started. Cause maize tend to be a little bit more smaller than mine. I want a little chunk in my guacamole because I don't want my guacamole completely smooth. That's why they use a food processor. I don't need it to be pasty. I need to have like chunks of this and like chunks of that. But it's just smooth enough to spread across my toast. So that should be the finished product at this point when it comes to the guacamole. And there you have it, the guacamole. So as far as this goes, I put a cover over it and I refrigerate it because now I have to move on to doing the turkey burgers. The turkey burgers require a lot more ingredients versus just the guacamole. The guacamole is going to be like a topping for the hamburger. Here are all the ingredients for the turkey burger. We have the ground turkey, 85% lean, 15% fat, all purpose, red cover, so it has salt, paprika, ground cumin from McCormick. We have the whole oregano, garlic, onion powder, and breadcrumbs with Italian seasoning and having Romano cheese, onions, green bell pepper, red bell pepper, and garlic, and my dressing cutting board. There's no exact measurements for this. It's by eye. I use half of the ground turkey as you see there. I cut up the red bell peppers, green bell peppers, garlic, and the onion. Now let's try to do the dry seasonings. This is actually 1/4 cup of the breadcrumbs that I'm placing into the dish. Add my seasoning. Let me see which one that is. Garlic. That one has to be the whole oregano. Those are the flakes. The ground cumin from McCormick. Don't be careful not to overdo it. I'll put like half the amount on it because the other side I'm gonna put the paprika. I'm gonna put about half on the other side of the ground turkey. Now you don't always have to use McCormick. That's the name brand. If you find a great value ones, you could do that too. So this is my adobo with the salt, the all-purpose seasoning. Now these are the other fresh ingredients I'm gonna place into the inside. So after that, I form these with some of my turkey burgers. Then I'm going to go ahead and place it into hot oil. At this time, I'm using my olive oil because it's good for frying according to the package I got. I think this one is the light tasted one, so you don't overpower like vegetable oil. And this will be the finished product and add some other things to it. Till next time, this is Miss Sitting Around from Sparkling Memories. Bye bye.